Attacked the previous day on a military lorry at White Rock between Castlemartyr and Midleton. The two brothers, Sean and Bartholomew Buckley, were arrested at their home at Ballydmond in the early hours of the morning. In the attack at White Rock, the IRA had managed to shoot dead one British soldier, the driver of the lorry, and wounded two other members of the Cameron Highlanders who had been brought into Ireland to suppress the independence movement. Sean was aged 25 and Bartholomew was aged 21 at the time of their arrest, and both were detained in Midleton barracks for interrogation. They were arrested as part of a roundup of well-known Republicans in East Cork, with Sean getting specific blame for being involved in the ambush. At about 6 o'clock that evening, the two prisoners were dispatched in a lorry to Cork City under strong military guard. In account of the incident by Bartholomew, he states that himself and his brother Sean were roped together back to back. Not long after being placed into the military lorry and being tied together, the British Army officer in charge of the company pulled out his revolver and shot Sean dead at close range through the heart, with the bullet passing through his body and lodging in the spine of his brother Bartholomew. The lorry then took off to Cork City military barracks, where upon arriving, Bartholomew asked for a priest. The bullet had lodged in his spine, resulting in him being a cripple for the rest of his life, as doctors were unable to remove the bullet without the possibility of death. The following day, the police left a message at the Midleton cottage of the brothers' parents that read, "Your son John, in trying to escape from military custody today on the way to Cork, was shot. He died from wounds. Bartholomew is also wounded in the shoulder. Inquire at Military Hospital, Cork." Sean was a member of Midleton Company of the Irish Volunteers and was secretary of the local Sinn Féin club in Midleton, as well as being treasurer of the East Cork executive. He was employed as an accountant in hÉireann's establishment in Midleton, while his brother worked in Kelly's Carrytool. They were two of 5 children of Patrick and Margaret Buckley and lived at Ballydmond, hÉireann and Timplin School. It is said that Sean was given the most impressive funeral. His remains arrived from Cork to Midleton at about 11 p.m. on Saturday the 28th of August and were taken to the Church of the Holy Rosary on the shoulders of the volunteers. The funeral took place to Lisgould on Sunday at 3 p.m. with the coffin draped in a tricolour, and was followed by thousands of volunteers, members of Sinn Féin Cumann, while 5 bands played in his procession, including the Cork Volunteer Pipe Band. The cortege was said to be 2 miles long and took close to an hour to pass any given point. The incident, like many other incidents in the Tan War, showed how the British attempted to enforce their rule of terror by killing unarmed prisoners in the hope of discouraging others from participating in the War of Independence. In one account of the arrest of the brothers, a former officer of the Midleton Volunteers, Michael Carney, vividly recalled the episode. The night the two brothers Buckley were arrested in their home near Midleton by the military and accused of having taken part in the attack at White Rock earlier that day. In fact, neither took part. One, Sean, was a volunteer attached to the Midleton Company, the other was not. It is fair to say that the arrest, execution and intimidation against the volunteers did not work in this incident or in any other incident over the next year throughout East Cork and the Cork No. 1 Brigade area. If anything, the brigade grew from strength to strength, and the volunteers actively fought a hard war against the English with the formation of the Flying Column, with further attacks on British Army, RAC barracks and patrol. Volunteer Seán Buckley was a young man dedicated to the freedom and prosperity of his country and his fellow countrymen and women. He made the ultimate sacrifice and was part of a nationwide movement who, through gallant deeds and daring attacks, gained Ireland part of her independence. But that independence is not complete. It is not complete in terms of our country being partitioned and still occupied by the same Crown forces in 6 of our counties that the volunteers fought against in 1920 and 1921. But our country has still not got through economic independence, which was one of the major goals of the Irish volunteers. In leaving this graveside of Seán Buckley, today we must have 3 aims that we must all work towards. The unification of Ireland and the removal of all foreign powers and their vested interests, the achievement of economic independence where the labours and profits of the Irish people are owned and enjoyed by the Irish people, and thirdly, the restoration of a Gaelic Ireland, specifically the creation of an Irish-speaking nation. Let that be the glorious legacy of Óglach Seán Buckley and all the great Irish patriots of the Irish nation. Let him sleep here in peace, and let us go forth and honour his memory. Audrey, Brí agus Banach, hÉireann go bra.